From the very beginning, the iPad was designed to be very powerful, very capable, but also remarkably simple to use. So our goal was to take all the amazing things that you can do with a full-size iPad, but pack them into a product that is so much smaller. And that's what we did with the new iPad mini.
One of the things that makes iPads so incredible is that there's almost no end to what you can do with it. So when we decided to make the iPad mini, we wanted to make sure it had all the features that make iPad so magical. We began with a display that has the same resolution as the iPad 2. So all your apps and content look and work the same way. And at 7.9 inches, it's small enough to fit in one hand, but it's still large enough to give you that rich, immersive iPad experience. It has a dual-core A5 chip for fast, fluid performance, both FaceTime and iSight cameras. It gets a full 10 hours of battery life, and it runs more than 275,000 apps made just for iPad. These aren't scaled-up phone apps. These are powerful apps that take full advantage of iPad mini's beautiful display. You can access all your favorite music, movies, and TV shows from the iTunes Store. 1.5 million books on the iBook Store, and over 5,000 magazines and newspapers on Newsstand. And another thing we're really excited about is that iPad mini comes with FaceTime HD. Seeing your friends and family in high definition makes you feel like you're that much closer.
If all that we had done was take the original iPad and just reduce it, all that you would be aware of was everything that was just missing. That there is inherent loss in just reducing a product in size. And what we did was we went back to the very beginning and we took the time to design a product that was a concentration of, not a reduction of the original. We felt strongly that 7.9 inches was exactly the right display size, but it became clear that we had to reduce the width of the borders so you can still pick it up and easily use it with one hand. We have continued to develop our unibody process. There are essentially two parts to the enclosure, the glass and the aluminium. And that junction where the two parts actually come together is incredibly important. The diamond cut chamfer meets seamlessly with the glass. And I think it's a beautiful detail that further reduces parts and actually makes it more durable. We also designed an entirely new smart cover for the iPad mini. By eliminating the separate aluminium hinge, we now essentially wrap the iPad mini in a single, simple colored material.
The biggest challenge that we faced was incorporating all of these great features in a much smaller and lighter device. In order to do this, every part had to be custom designed, starting with the display. The glass on the front and back are only 0.2 millimeters thin. The touch subsystem is a mere 0.12 millimeters thin. It weighs half as much as any we've ever done before. Beyond the screen, we took some dramatic steps to maximize interior space. It has the largest and thinnest single-cell battery we've ever designed. We've designed a smaller motherboard to house the powerful A5 chip and built in the new, smaller Lightning connector. We also redesigned the iSight and FaceTime HD cameras, and they allow you to take amazing photos in HD video. We've been able to build all of this technology into a device that is only 0.68 pounds and 7.2 millimeters thin.
All of these efforts combine to make a product that is incredibly thin and light and has absolutely remarkable levels of fit and finish. And I think the result is an extraordinary iPad, one that will be used in so many different places, in so many different ways.
This episode of Soldier Knows Best is brought to you by Full Sail University. Hey, what's up guys, so you know it's best here. This is my review of the iPad mini. Now this small tablet has been making some big noise out there. Yes, you get that joke, a little corny, I know. But anyway, it has been making some noise out there. A lot of people have been wondering whether this is going to be actually worth their money to buy. It is the cheapest iPad out there, but it also too, it's more expensive than other tablets in this type of price range and form factor. So this review, I'm going to cover the design, the hardware, the cameras, how it runs the software, and overall whether this is going to be a good buy for you. So they're going to start the review with the design. And this new iPad mini takes a lot of the new design characteristics that are in the new iPod Touch and the new iPhone 5. Has a nice bezeled edge there where the glass kind of just seamlessly rolls into the rest of the device from the display. And also too, it's very thin. It's only 0.28 inches thick and only weighs 0.68 pounds or just 308 grams, which makes it one of the smallest and lightest tablets on the market. It also comes in two different color configurations with black/slate and also the white/silver. And of course, it's made out of Apple's favorite material, and that is aluminum. Now on the right hand side, we have the volume buttons plus the mute/rotation lock switch. And also at the top, we'll find the on off and sleep wake button. In the middle, you'll find the microphone. And also too, on the left hand side of that, you'll find the headphone jack. Now on the bottom, you'll find the new Lightning connector port, and to the left and to the right of that, you'll find a couple speakers. And I would say these speakers are pretty good. These are stereo speakers, and they do get loud. I would say these are probably the loudest speakers of any iPad out there right now. And now when you look at the display on this new iPad mini, it has a 7.9-inch display with a resolution of 1024 by 768 and 163 ppi. That stands for pixels per inch. So this is definitely not a Retina display like you'll find on the iPad 3rd or 4th generation, because they have 264 ppi and definitely a way higher resolution. But again, the display is not horrible, not bad at all, but it's just not up to that Retina display standard. And we compare it to some of the other competitors out there that have better displays for a lower price, it will make you scratch your head just a little bit. But since this is a 7.9-inch display, you do have a lot more screen real estate to work with, but it's still in a small form factor. And now as we take a look at the internals of this new iPad mini, it has a dual-core A5 processor with 512 megabytes of RAM, 16, 32, and 64 gigabyte storage configurations, and there's also LTE available with AT&T, Sprint, and Verizon. Now this and benchmark comparisons between the Nexus 7, the iPhone 5, and the iPad 3rd generation, just to give you a kind of a sense about how this iPad mini performs. And it definitely lags behind in this benchmark test against a lot of those devices out there. But when it comes to real world performance, the iPad mini is not that bad at all. And I'll cover that a little bit more in my OS section of this review. But now as far as battery life, it has a 16.3 watt battery inside of it. And Apple says you should be able to get up to 10 hours of battery usage from web browsing and watching video and listening to music. I was able to get about 8 to 9 hours in my usage for this review. And now let's move on to the camera part of this review. Now the iPad mini features two cameras. The one on the front is a FaceTime HD camera that can take 1.2 megapixel photos and record video at 720p HD at 30 frames per second. So this will be great for FaceTime calls, Skype calls, anything like that. And also too, when you move around to the rear of this iPad mini, you'll find a 5 megapixel rear facing camera that can take 1080p HD video at 30 frames per second. Now I would say this iPad mini takes pretty impressive photos and video from the rear facing camera. It's easily the best camera combination of any tablet in this type of form factor, this type of 7 to 8 inch form factor, since most of them only feature front facing cameras. And I would say these cameras really match up there with the iPad 3rd and 4th generation as being some of the best cameras on any tablet out there. And that's going to talk about the OS, the operating system. This new iPad mini is running iOS 6, and a lot of people compare the performance of this new iPad mini to the iPad 2nd generation. But I even go a step further and really compare it to the 3rd generation as far as how this tablet actually handles applications and things you throw at it. Now I'm not going to go over all the little individual features like Siri and all that, Passbook and stuff, because we already covered that in many videos talking about iOS 6. But I'll say this iPad mini does not lag behind any other tablets out right now. Even the iPad 4th generation, yes, it may open up an application a little bit faster and load applications and games and things like that faster, but this iPad mini is able to handle itself very well. And also because of the form factor and the performance of this iPad mini, developers of applications don't really have to modify the apps for this device. As far as the display, all the apps will scale down perfectly to it. You don't really have to have those black bars like you have the iPhone 5 as far as its display being too tall, anything like that. And also again, the games and stuff perform just as well they do on the other iPads out in the market. So bottom line, if you use a 2nd generation iPad and above and you move to this iPad mini, the performance is not going to be an issue with you. And now the biggest and last category of this review is going to be the price point. The iPad mini starts at $329 for the 16 gigabyte version and goes up $100 for the 32 gigabyte version to all the way to the 64 gigabyte version, which can run you $529. Now, if you do want to get an LTE version, that's going to start off at $459 for the 16 gig and again go up $100 as well. So this iPad mini definitely isn't cheap as far as the other 7-inch tablets out there in the market, but it is the cheapest iPad out in the market. But this is going to be a really big deciding factor to whether whether people are going to get this iPad mini or not. And that brings me to my overall conclusion of this new tablet. I would say that I'm very pleased with the performance of this iPad mini. It doesn't feel like it's hindered just because it's a smaller form factor. Yes, the display is definitely not a Retina display, but it will get the job done. But I would love to see a better display. I think they should have done it for this price point. Now, everything else as far as the cameras, the way applications perform on it are really great. And I love the form factor. I love the design of this new iPad mini. And personally, when I'm using this around the house, I choose the iPad mini over the regular size iPad, not really because anything else, but just the design and the way it feels in my hand. And it's a small footprint when I'm sitting on the couch. But with all these good things being said, I do think $329 is a very steep entry point to this iPad mini. If you already own an iPad or really own any other tablet out there and you're okay with that, you're pleased with that, I don't see this iPad mini being very compelling to go out there and buy. But if you never own an iPad or a tablet in general, I think this iPad mini will be great. It is the cheapest iPad that Apple offers. Again, I don't totally agree with the price point, but if you are looking to get into the tablet range, and if you want an iOS tablet, if you're really interested in the Apple ecosystem, the iPad mini will be a great choice for you to buy. But I definitely would like to see Apple drop the price on this thing and also to put a better display. Those are my two things I really take away from this iPad mini. But you know what? A year from now, when Apple releases the second version of this, you doggone well will probably have a Retina display. So if you can hold out till then, I would probably recommend you do that. So this does wrap up my review of the iPad mini. But before we head out here, let's take one last look at our sponsor for this video. There have been over 15 billion applications downloaded from the App Store alone, and with the Android market share expected to grow 600% by 2012, Full Sail University is here to give you a head start in mobile app development. They offer their online mobile development bachelor's degree program that is aimed at teaching you both the programming and the business sides of mobile app development. And through their Project Launchbox program, students receive a MacBook Pro that is preloaded with a whole bunch of software, iOS and Android devices, and you combine this with their online courses, you really get a good head start. Between the App Store and Google's Play Store, over 50 billion applications have been downloaded with no signs of slowing down. So if you're ready to master the technology and software to compete in this growing industry, visit fullsail.edu/soldier to learn more about this online degree program. Again, it's fullsail.edu/soldier. All right, guys, again, thanks for watching this video. Please leave a comment down below what you think about the iPad mini. Do you agree with my review? What things would you like to see done differently with this thing? Leave that comment down below. And also, to be sure to enter my iPad mini giveaway that I'm holding. I should have a video annotation somewhere around here. And thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you later. Peace.